Hey everyone, it's your girl Cosmic Wonderland, dressed in like emo goth today, just 'cause I feel like it. I like the artisticness of the dark side. A little bit. A wee little bit. Anyways, today's video is nuts. You're not going to believe it. This story time is going to blow your mind, and it's gonna be a long one. Today's story time is Dr. Phil called and wants me on the show. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a long one. You're going to want to go get a soda, get a snack, whatever you want to do, but hang in there because you do not want to miss this. Dr. Phil called and wants me on the show.
Yes. Dear Lord.
So we're going to jump right in. First thing I want to say is during this video and also the clip you're about to watch of the phone call conversation I had with a producer with the Dr. Phil show is they caught me on Goth Day yesterday. No, day before yesterday-ish. Yeah, because I'm posting this today. Like, oh, you gotta see this. You have to see this. So anyways, it was like 3 days ago they called me, okay? And they wanted me on the show. And I was like, really? There's no way. But I was live streaming during the call, and I went ahead and I recorded part of the conversation. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you why they called me, okay? You're not going to believe this. So my mother, Michelle, the woman that abused me my whole life, the one who had me labeled as mentally unstable, bipolar, with problems and on heavy medications from the age of 10. Within the first year I lived with her, and, they caused me to be bulimic and anorexic. They locked me in mental institutions when I wouldn't, when I would tell people about the abuse or when I would stand up for myself. I wouldn't take it anymore. So, anyways, I cannot believe this woman. I cannot believe she did this. I haven't spoke to her in 10 months, going on a year. She was not invited to my wedding. I am actually terrified of my mother. The first time I left home, she tried to kill me. She pulled a knife on me. Like, it was a crazy ordeal, and I'm working on explaining all of it in my Spill the Tea series I'm doing on my channel. If you guys notice, I haven't done those videos in a very long time because one, it's painful. It's painful to go there. It's painful to even think about my childhood and how that impacted and morphed my life. And two, I've matured and I have evacuated drama. Like, I've cut my mother off. I haven't spoke to her in almost a year. I've made the decision to not exert my energy, my happiness on the past and on her drama. Anyways, when they called, I was like, oh my god. And mind you, my grandmother a couple weeks ago, she showed me her Facebook wall, and I realized that Michelle, my mom, had stolen a recent photo of me taken about 3-4 months ago. So a recent photo. She took it off my Instagram or whatever, and she edited it and put glitter and butterflies and stuff on it. And she posted on Facebook how much she loves her daughter. The reason she didn't come to my wedding is because I told her that I know that she had me labeled as bipolar to cover up childhood abuse. I know that she also did it to scam the government and to get money off of me and out of my situations. It was absolute abuse, 100%. Sorry, there's a knot in my wig. And I told her, I called her out on it, and I said, I know that, that's what's going on. They've realized it, that my life was excuse my language, it was and once I finally found my husband, my life settled down. I wasn't homeless anymore. I wasn't being abused by my parents. I wasn't running from stalkers and rapists of mine and dealing with the drama of that and just the uncertainty of living in shelter, sleeping in my car, trying to work, trying to get a job, all that stuff. She really set me up for failure in life. But I worked my ass off. I figured out a way to get to where I needed to be in my own world, my own life. And that all happened when I met my husband, because I was loved, I had security, I was taken care of. All three things allowed me to blossom as a person and to finally figure out who I am. I told her a bit of this, and I was also telling her that they are going to, the place that was prescribing my meds and seeing over me emotionally, my psychologist and therapist and stuff, they had apologized. They had said that there had been so many people misdiagnosed with mental illnesses when really it was a life problem and not a mental issue. Sometimes you need to fix the environment in which something is growing in order to improve said growth instead of just trying to change the person. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I let her know of that, and I told her also, me and Taylor, we don't want to have a big wedding. We've got a lot going on. He's sick. His lung had collapsed. This had been the start of our journey into getting a lung transplant, which, when you're watching this, my husband is on the lung transplant list now, so we're not going to get into all that. I will make a separate video about that, but just know, thank God. Thank God, okay? This is going to be a doozy to edit. So they apologized. They said it's happened to a lot of people. They're sorry. They would like to get me off of the medications and see how I do. And I was like, of course, I would love to not be attached to these pills that, I really do believe, like, I'm strong enough now. I know who I am. I've been through enough therapy to realize kind of what was going on with my life, and that really helped me grasp where I wanted my life to go from there. So I had made a lot of growth mentally, emotionally, physically, relationship-wise, mentally. I had repaired a lot of damage from childhood on my own, and I got to a good enough spot. I was like, yes, let's get me off these meds. Let's wing me off, okay? So we did that. It was a tough journey. I made a YouTube video, I'll leave the link down in the description box below, that I started having seizures a month before me and my husband's wedding. It was part of a withdrawal from getting off those meds because I never needed those meds, ever. I never needed them. My mother put them on me because she didn't know how to love me. She told me this to my face. I asked her at 10, why won't you tell me I love you? Why won't you hug me? Why don't you ask how my day at school was? Because I grew up with my grandmother because my mom, in public, told doctors and nurses in a doctor's office that she was going to murder me if they didn't get me out of her care. So my grandma came and adopted me. Okay? Is this making sense now? At 2, she wanted to murder me. She never wanted me. So I lived with my grandma. And I knew what love was, and I knew what a good relationship was, and a healthy home, and all of that. So then, living with my mom at 10, living with someone who's bipolar, who's mentally ill, who is looking to extort me financially, even as a child, whatever she could get out of me, whatever sympathy people would give her, she rode with that, okay? She had me labeled that year, and it's a lot. But I decided to cut this woman out of my life because when I called and told her that they were getting me off these meds and that I was really happy and I was doing better than I've ever done in my life, and that me and my husband don't want to have a big wedding, we just want to do something really small, and that, she could come to our second wedding because we plan on redoing our vows at some point in 1 to 5 years, having a big thing probably. Okay? She went off on me. She told me, you're mentally insane, you're bipolar, you're crazy. You know what's going to happen when you get off those meds is you're going to lose your mind. You do this all the time. You don't realize how psychotic you are, how many problems you have, how messed up your life is. And when you get off the meds, guess what? Taylor's going to see what a f*** up you are, and he's not going to love you anymore, and he's going to divorce you. Because you're crazy. I'm the only one that loves you. My love's the only one that's true, and blah, blah, blah. How dare you do this to me on my big day? How dare you not invite me to the wedding? What are you thinking? What's wrong with you? Just blah, blah, blah. And then she hung up on me. That is when I saw I was validated that the memories that had come back after getting off the meds, because I didn't remember a lot because I was drugged up. From 10 to 24, I was heavily on medications, like over 100 different types of medications starting at the age of 10. And it really hindered my life and my upbringing and who I became mentally. You know, I digress to 9 sometimes, like in the way that I act, in the way that I like view things and handle situations sometimes, and it's because 9 years old was a very safe place for me. You know, it was a time before the crazy. She wasn't supportive at all, and that's when I decided to cut her out of my life. At that point, I noticed that she is still a threat to me, that she's still trying to control me, brainwash me, manipulate me. She wants me to be sick. She doesn't want me to be happy or healthy. She's out to destroy me still. She made me feel like a 10-year-old little girl again, scared for my life, and I didn't like it. And that's where I drew the line. So the thought of her calling Dr. Phil was really weird to me because I'm like, I haven't talked to you in almost a year. I have nothing to say to you. I have nothing left to, I have no energy to exert towards you ever again. Like, I'm done with you. And the fact that you're posting pictures of me, saying how much you love me when we don't even talk, okay? And posting on social media about me and you don't know anything about my life. Like, this is getting to the point where you're really crazy. And then to tell Dr. Phil that I went off my meds and I lost my mind and, you know, that I need to, like, be rehabilitated instead of addressing her drug issues with angel dust and opioids and all sorts of other medications. I just want to see her get help. But I also want my mother, Michelle Kime, to leave me alone. Listen to the phone call of me and the producer. I'll throw in some pieces, probably not the whole thing because we were on the phone for quite a while, and I summed up a lot of it here. But take a look at this.
I mean, if this is something you're interested in, you know, a great place to go see your sister, so we could bring her as well to, like, help support you. And, you know, ideally, I mean, I don't know if you watch Dr. Phil, but
I watch Dr. Phil every day.
Oh, okay. So you know what he does. Like,
yes. That's why I've thought about writing in before.
Yeah, so he's capable of, like, you know,
helping,
getting down to what the real, like, issue is and helping families and, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if he labeled you bipolar and he feels that you're not bipolar, then, you know, he's going to figure out that, you know, this isn't right and, you know.
Well, I actually I was acknowledged at the same place that diagnosed me. They got me off. It's been 10 months. In March. In March will be 1 year off psych medications. They got me detoxed. I went through seizures through the process. Like, they monitored me.
Oh my God.
They apologized to me. And I've never been healthier. My family can vouch for that. I finally know who I am. There was never anything wrong with me. People just didn't want to address the chaos in my life. They wanted to put a Band-Aid on it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a big label to have, and that medication's so strong.
It hindered me a lot. I wondered what was wrong with me. You know, I'd gain weight, I'd lose weight, I'd sleep, not sleep, I'd see things that weren't there. All things I knew weren't me. But she put me on psych meds when I was 10 years old. My first year I moved in with her. So, and she told me it was for disability. She told me she tried to get me labeled disabled so I could never work because she said I'd get her more money than if I were working.
Did she ever have a job?
She had about 3, maybe 4 jobs since I was 10 years old, and she couldn't stay for longer than a month or 2. She always got fired, accused of stealing, whether it was she let people fill up gas and not pay, she stole from safes when she was supposed to be counting, whatever it was, she could never hold a job.
Okay, so that's why she needed yours.
Yeah, as soon as I was 16, she forced me to work and pay rent, and, you know, she had access to my bank account, and I finally went and had her pulled off, and she marched me into the bank, basically, like, gunpoint. There was no weapons, but you know what I mean, like.
Right.
And she told me, don't say anything. You get my name put back on there, and if we leave here and my name's not back on your bank account, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And so I sat there not saying a thing, and they put her back on, so I quit my job. I said, I'm tired of you taking 80% of my money. You know?
That's crazy.
My heart's racing just thinking I might possibly have to interact with her. Like...
Right. I mean, if you came to Dr. Phil, when you see the people on the show, they are never together except when they hit that stage. They fly separately. They're in separate hotels. We make sure that they don't even know where the other person's hotel is. They're in separate areas of the city. In the dressing rooms, they're on different sides of the building. They do not see each other until they are with Dr. Phil.
Okay.
We make sure that it's very, the point is for it to be a therapeutic session. We're not here to, that's what essentially separates us from, a Jerry Springer. We're not trying to make
no.
We're here to make everyone, we're trying to better everyone. We're trying to make sure, you're coming to, work out problems. We're not saying you and your mom have to, hold hands at the end of the day, but, we want to make sure that, at least when you leave Dr. Phil, you feel like you've accomplished something.
True.
And I don't know how you felt, maybe you were sad that, your mom wasn't there on your wedding day, but, maybe you want to have kids one day, and, they might ask, where's grandma? That might be your next big stepping stone, and, that might be something that you do want to have a relationship with her for. So, these are things that, Dr. Phil can help you with.
Yes.
So, maybe at the same time, when you come to Dr. Phil, at least you would have given this, and you're like, you know what, at least I got that closure, and, when you have your kid, you're like, you know what, I'm good because I had that closure. So it works both ways. It depends on what people want or need in their life.
Hi, Dr. Phil. My name is Ashley Smith, and I would love to come on your show so I can confront my mother and explain to her why it is I cut her out of my life almost a year ago, completely. She wasn't even invited to my wedding. The reason for this is because she abused me emotionally, medically, physically, financially, in every which way, all my life. She had me labeled as bipolar at 10, and I'm undiagnosed now at 25. It's been almost a year off psych medications. I've never been better. There was nothing wrong with me. My life was messed up. My mother abused me my whole childhood, and she has a drug problem. She's done angel dust, and her and my stepfather, Richard, have OD'd. I don't know if she has, but he has at least 4 times on opioids, and I think that it keeps her from realizing what she did. She believes she's a good mom when she's not, and she never was. I feel like it's important for her to get the help that she needs and for her to know I'm perfectly fine without her. But I do, as her being my mom, I do love her in a sense that I want to see her get better, but I don't think she can. I would love to come on the show and explain how I was abused and locked in mental institutions and how they forced me to become bulimic and anorexic, and I still have nightmares of everything, and I think that you're the best, and while I feel the relationship with my mother is never going to be fixed, who knows? Maybe you could do something to help us. But anyways, I'd love to come on the show. We could really use your help. And the reason that I'm not going to be going on the show now is because they didn't do it right now. They were supposed to do it Sunday. They were supposed to do it on February 10th, fly me out, and I'd be back on Wednesday or Tuesday. But that didn't happen. They ended up calling my sister and saying that they wanted to prolong it for a few months. I'm not going to deal with Michelle. I'm not going to go on TV, and I don't need to prove that I am sane. I don't have to prove anything to her or the world. I know who I am, I know where I've been, I know where I'm going in life. So it doesn't matter what anybody says, it doesn't affect me. I just feel really sad for her. And I'm not going to go because my husband is on the lung transplant list. I'm going to be by his side. Family comes first. My mother is not family. She never was. I gave her plenty of chances to be a mom, but she never did. She never was a mother. She is my abuser. So anyways, with that being said, it was so freaking nuts to hear from the Dr. Phil crew, and to think that they wanted to in some way, you know, air it and do a story on us. Not what I was expecting to hear at all. But like I said, I'm in goth again today for fun, and I thought now's a good time to do this whole talking part of my video because there's a lot you guys needed to know, and I was like, well, they called me on a goth day, so let me finish this video goth. Like, let's not do goth and then, like, you know, country western. Just kidding. Do you know what I mean? I thought, let's stay in the same genre for this video. But yeah, Dr. Phil wanted me on TV because my mother, who hasn't talked to me in almost a year, told him I've gone nuts. She's the Looney Tune. If I could finally get through the spilling of the tea videos, you guys will totally understand from beginning to end what I'm talking about. You've had a snippet, a little piece, like you understand. Anyways, but yeah, that's nuts. That's my story time, and I'm not going on the show because it doesn't matter. My family matters. I'm gonna stay here. I'm done with her. I made that decision a year ago. I've gained control of my life for the first time. That was robbed of me at 10. I didn't have control over my life anymore or who I was, but I do now. I do now. Stay fantabulous, and as always, this little emo goth queen will stay awesome for you guys. Bye!